Apocalypse warning: comet bigger than dinosaur killer could destroy Earth by 2030. A 20-mile wide piece of a huge comet could strike the Earth, potentially threatening all life on Earth, as soon as 2030, a maverick archaeologist claims. Former journalist Graham Hancock suggests a huge chunk of flaming rock up to 30 km wide, hidden in a comet stream, could hit Earth with devastating effects in just 13 years. Mr. Hancock, a former East Africa correspondent for The Economist, publishes the theory in his latest book Magicians of the Gods, claiming that it proved beyond reasonable doubt that a sophisticated civilization was all but wiped off the face of our planet by chunks of the same comet between 11,600 and 12,800 years ago. In the book, he alarmingly claims his research shows Earth could again pass through the same section of the trail of Comet Encke, containing the up to 20-mile wide monster in 2030. Mr. Hancock has been ridiculed as a pseudoscientist by mainstream archaeologists who dismissed his research of more than 20 years. But, now a separate scientific study has backed his claim that the devastating comet may have struck Earth nearly 13,000 years ago. It is now hoped that his doomsday prediction about 2030 is not as accurate. Every year the Earth passes the torrid meteor showers in October and November, but in 2030, Mr. Hancock says we will pass the same part of the stream that caused the cataclysmic comet strike nearly 13,000 years ago. He wrote, "The debris stream of the comet is still on an orbit that crosses the orbit of the Earth. Astronomers believe that a 20-mile wide dark fragment of the original giant comet remains hidden within the debris stream and poses a clear and present danger to all life on Earth." Mr. Hancock first wrote 20 years ago in Fingerprints of the Gods his theory that an ancient civilization, including the occupants of the legendary Atlantis, were devastated by comet parts striking the planet nearly 13,000 years ago. His book was panned by scientists as pseudo-archaeology, but went on to sell 9 million copies and become a Sunday Times bestseller. U.S. geologist Paul Heinrich wrote at the time, "Rather than stumbling upon an archaeological mystery, he has nearly created one." But Mr. Hancock claims the 500-page sequel, published in 2015, provides the smoking gun scientific and archaeological evidence that he was right all along. The blurb for Magicians of the Gods says, "Near the end of the last ice age 12,800 years ago, a giant comet that had entered the solar system from deep space thousands of years earlier, broke into multiple fragments. Some of these struck the Earth, causing a global cataclysm on a scale unseen since the extinction of the dinosaurs. At least 8 of the fragments hit the North American ice cap, while further fragments hit the Northern European ice cap. The evidence revealed in this book shows beyond reasonable doubt that an advanced civilization that flourished during the Ice Age was destroyed in the global cataclysms." He alleges that mankind was forced to start again as primitives. Now a study by the University of Edinburgh's School of Engineering published in the University of the Aegean's International Journal of Mediterranean Archaeology, appears to have vindicated his claims of the comet strike 13,000 years ago that caused a mini-ice age. Much of Mr. Hancock's claims stemmed from evidence found during a dig at an ancient site in Turkey known as Göbekli Tepe, near the border with Syria. It is more than 2 times older than Stonehenge, but was a much more skilled construction with astronomical carvings, which Mr. Hancock said also told of the ancient comet strike. Last week the University of Edinburgh's study said the carvings at Göbekli Tepe do show a comet strike, in 10,950 BC. Dr. Martin Sweetman of Edinburgh University said, "One of the pillars at Göbekli Tepe seems to have served as a memorial to this devastating event, probably the worst day in history since the end of the Ice Age." A series of animal carvings on a pillar known as the Vulture Stone, was found to represent constellations of stars as they were thousands of years ago, as well as the comet itself. Mr. Hancock's book goes on to look at future risks from the comet trail, relying heavily on the research of comet experts Victor Kloop and Bill Napier. Now a study by the University of Edinburgh's School of Engineering published in the University of the Aegean's International Journal of Mediterranean Archaeology, appears to have vindicated his claims of the comet strike 13,000 years ago that caused a mini ice age. Much of Mr. Hancock's claims stemmed from evidence found during a dig at an ancient site in Turkey known as Göbekli Tepe, near the border with Syria. It is more than 2 times older than Stonehenge, but was a much more skilled construction with astronomical carvings, which Mr. Hancock said also told of the ancient comet strike. Last week the University of Edinburgh's study said the carvings at Göbekli Tepe do show a comet strike, in 10,950 BC. Dr. Martin Sweetman of Edinburgh University said, one of the pillars at Göbekli Tepe seems to have served as a memorial to this devastating event, probably the worst day in history since the end of the Ice Age. A series of animal carvings on a pillar known as the Vulture Stone was found to represent constellations of stars as they were thousands of years ago, as well as the comet itself. Mr. Hancock's book goes on to look at future risks from the comet trail, relying heavily on the research of comet experts Victor Klube and Bill Napier.